Isaac Mulcrone for Mornings, playing Perth's newest track and your forever favourites.
Good morning. You are listening to Youth Jam Radio Perth. It's Isaac here for your new morning show, weekdays from 9 o'clock. Joining me in the studio is very famous media personality, and obviously it's Connor's cousin. I'm very excited about this. It's Carmen Braidwood. Good morning.
Morning, Isaac. Hello, Connor. Thanks for having me here. It's the first time I've ever been described as very famous. I'm stoked.
Well, you are very famous, and I think you can make Connor famous as well, obviously.
Well, yeah, he is. He's my cousin's son, and I've known him since he was born.
Exactly. See, you're famous in Carmen's eyes, Connor. All right, so I want to have a look at your radio career this morning.
Thank you.
So you've worked at many radio stations across Perth, but let's go back to the beginning. Where did you start out in radio?
Oh, my first job in radio, I guess technically would have been at 6PR, which is actually where I work right now. So my first casual producing job, I would just fill in holes where people were away on holidays and things like that over the summer. So yeah, very first gig, first time I got paid, producing at 6PR.
Wow. And so what show was that for? Is it for breakfast or just any producing?
Well, over summer, I've helped out on the breakfast show. I think back then Adrian Barrich and Basil Zemplis were covering one of the shows that I did some producing on. I also produced for Bob Moormill, who you might remember. Some of our older listeners might remember Bob Moormill. He's a big talkback guy around Perth, big personality. And I also produced with Steve Gordon's Nights session. Bob Moormill was mornings, Steve Gordon was nights, and I did a few nights shifts. Yeah, those ones.
How did they go? I can't imagine how that would go for nighttime. How do you do it and not get tired?
No, look, I think it's about adjusting to the time zone no matter what shift you do. 6PR is 24 hours live still.
Live?
And was then all live.
No recording, just live.
Well, there are some recorded interviews occasionally, but generally it's all live. And those night shows, the guys, they do 8 p.m. I think it is until midnight, and then another guy comes in from midnight, works through till about 4 or 5.
Yeah, because Fred Mafrica, he does that little bit there, or every now and then.
Summer and things like that. Yeah,
good guy him. Now, you studied in Sydney and Perth. What was that like?
So what I did is I did an arts degree here in Perth, but I also did a course which is a lot like North Metropolitan's TAFE's course now, TAFE course now in radio. I did a course called the Academy of Radio while I was still at university, and that was a 6-month crash course and everything you need to do, with commercial radio. And once I started working over on the East Coast, I took some jobs out in the country. So my first breakfast radio gig was at a radio station in Colac in country Victoria. And so while I was working there, I was promoted within my role, still doing the brekkie show. You have dual roles. You'd get 2 jobs at most radio stations in the country these days. Yeah, so I was the breakfast presenter, but also the copywriter, and then eventually I was the breakfast presenter who was also the program director of the radio station.
Oh my goodness,
and
job after job.
That afforded me some extra study opportunities, and that's how I went up to Afters. And completed some courses there. So I did a music directing course, and I did the program director's course at Afters in Sydney.
So you went to that school just there. What was that like? What was it like to study there?
At Afters, well, I was a guest student, if you like. So I would do remote study and then go and meet up in Sydney at Afters a few weekends out of the whole course. So the weekends that I spent, they were like these residential immersions, which were cool because there were all these other radio announcers from other country stations around Australia who you got to meet. They'd have a formal function, you get to go along, and you meet a lot of industry contacts too there in Sydney. So you get, your big program directors from Oz Stereo Network, DMG back in the day, which is now Nova Entertainment Group.
Nova. Yeah,
so all of those big networks that I really aspired to work for at the time, they were there, and we had access to those programmers.
So you went to Hit 92.9 as well. What did you do there, and what was that like?
I produced the breakfast show back then at Hit 92.9.
A lot of breakfast?
Yeah, which wasn't called Hit 92.9 back then. It was just called 92.9.
Oh, wasn't it it had the C logo? I saw one the other day at Quinn's. They had the C logo thing.
They did. That kind of fresh looking thing. It was the Fresh Network, I think. From memory, God, it's been ages. So that was about 2007, and I produced the M and Whipper breakfast show, 2007 through to
So
9.
Whipper is part of the Fitzy and Whipper, am I right? Okay.
Same guy, yeah. And Em Roshano, who was
Oh,
on
yeah,
breakfast
yeah. She used to do that 2-Day FM. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so those two were a show here in Perth and I produced them.
So Em was in Perth before.
Yeah.
See, I don't know any of this stuff.
This goes back when you would have been a child, Isaac. You would have
I
been very
still
small.
am a child. Yeah.
You are technically,
Yeah.
yes. Well, you would have been a small child.
A very small
more than
child.
10 years ago.
Yeah, back when I wanted to be a bus driver, not a radio presenter. Wow. So you did, as you said before, you co-hosted breakfast on Ace Radio.
Yes.
What was it like to move interstate to work in radio?
Yeah, it was a big change. So my very first job full-time in radio was actually in Kalgoorlie.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that move up to Kalgoorlie, so about 6 hours away. And that was a good adjustment. And then from there I went to Colac in country Victoria.
Yeah.
And so that move into state, I think I'd had a bit of prep, because I'd done the move out to the country.
Yeah.
I lived a flight away or a really long drive away from home, so I got used to that. And I think more importantly, my mum and dad got used to that.
Yeah.
I was still a young person then. I was only 22, I think, when I left Perth.
Yeah.
And so for mum, it was a big adjustment. She really
I bet.
struggled.
Yeah.
And so here's a tip, kids. When you're negotiating your first job interstate, just try this. I sort of pretty much agreed to the job. I'm sitting there with the program director or the general manager of the station. He says, all right, so what else can we do to make this easy for you move-wise? And I said, well, to be honest, you could fly my mum and dad out here with me when I move.
Wow.
And I just chucked it out there and
Yeah.
he agreed. So the radio station brought mum and dad with me when I moved. Of course, they had to pay for me to move and to bring my car over and things like that. They put us all up in a hotel for a week so that mum and dad could just see where I was going to live. And
Wow.
I knew that would make them feel a lot better.
See, now I've got a target to achieve. If I bring someone from across the country or somewhere, I've got to pay for their parents to come over.
Oh,
my
true.
gosh.
Yeah, I know. You're thinking
no,
like
I'm not doing that.
a general manager. And this is it. I guess a lot of radio station bosses might not do that these days.
No.
I don't know.
I would want to, but it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, they'd want to kill me for suggesting it. Sorry, guys.
My next aim is Chris Evans. We'll get him over from
imagine.
What's his name? From Virgin Radio.
Yeah, he's working at Virgin Radio
yeah,
these
doing
days.
a great job.
Legend of
Oh, he
the
is.
industry.
I'll bring him here.
You
I'm
should.
not paying for his family. Oh, wait. It's more fair. Oh, I can't win.
In the few moments I've known you, Isaac, I reckon if anyone can bring Chris Evans to Australia,
It's
it is
me.
you.
Yeah, we'll do it. Connor and I will do it. Isn't that right, Connor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We're going to learn some more about Carmen after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Mornings with Isaac Mulcrone, weekdays from 9am to midday on Perth's YJR.
Welcome back. You're listening to Mornings with Isaac Morechrome. My guest in the studio is Carmen Braidwood and, of course, Connor James. Connor, I haven't said hi to you yet. How are you going?
I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Very hot day, so
It
very
is,
good.
isn't it? Oh,
today.
it's a Monday. It's so hot. It's
Yes,
Monday, remember
very
that?
hot.
Yes, very hot indeed. I'll get the forecast later for you. Now, thank you for coming on again, Carmen. It's good to have you. Now, Carmen, one of your biggest gigs, so I reckon it's your biggest gig, was at 96
Yes.
with Fitzy. Now, okay, it had a bad ending, but
Oh,
I want to know...
that's radio.
Exactly. But what was it like to work on 96 FM Breakfast every day for 5 years, was it?
Yeah, 7 years actually.
7 years.
Yeah, I did 7 years at 96. What was it like? That's a big question,
Yes,
really.
a loaded question. Go for as long as you want.
It was it was the longest job I ever had.
Yes.
So for me, I really enjoyed moving around the country working in radio, and I took every opportunity that came my way.
Yeah.
But when I landed back in Perth and I was in my hometown and I got that gig, it was really exciting, A, to work on a breakfast show in my hometown, and B, to spend more time with family, people like Connor, and with my mum and my dad who had stayed in Perth. And the other big thing that happened is I met my husband. So I met him within 6 weeks of moving back to
All
Perth.
thanks to 96.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
And
not
so-
giving them any credit here, but there you go.
I guess so. And I think that what really the benefit to my career that came from that is that I stayed put for a while. So when there were a few changes and weird things that were going on at 96, we went through a lot of change in those 7 years that I was there. And it is a sort of station that's had a lot of change over the years.
Oh, yes, definitely.
It's kind of doomed. Instead of going, I quit and run, which I have done in the past,
Yes.
I decided to stick it
Stay
out because
around,
I
yeah.
had roots put down in Perth.
Oh, I can't imagine how it would feel to just, I don't know. It's just something that I couldn't imagine happening to me. Obviously, I own it, so how am I going to ask myself? But what was it like to, get the chop or to go?
Oh, look, yeah, when you're axed from a show, you can't help but take it personally a little bit. That's your personality and that's your brand that another brand is choosing not to work with anymore. But in saying that, we're all pretty scientific about radio. We all understand that there are swings and roundabouts in the industry. We all understand that that directions change. The direction of the radio station had definitely changed, and they wanted to do something different. And look, if I'm entirely honest, the last couple of years, Fitzy and I didn't really enjoy those anyway.
No.
There's a lot of stuff we were being asked to do that we didn't really enjoy. And our voices weren't really being heard.
I've read an article about that in Radio Info. But your ideas aren't being used anymore.
We were asked for ideas. We did a whole week, for instance, of planning at the beginning of 2017 that was, ideally to plan out the whole year. We pitched all of these amazing ideas of things we really wanted to do that were connected to us, and none of them were used.
I think that's the thing that you want to. It's your breakfast show. You're the one who makes it the show.
Yeah.
Surely you want your ideas on. But
I think you want some connection with it personally.
Yeah.
So that made things a bit difficult. But the other thing is, in those jobs, you get a great pay packet too. Let's be realistic.
That's true. That's very
life.
true. Yeah.
I was 35 years old and I had 2 mortgages, and you've got bills.
Loads of them.
You're not going to walk away when you want to work with the company, and we tried really hard to work with the company to do exactly what they wanted. And so even though they threw out our ideas and gave us other stuff, we're like, great, yes, we'll do what you want to do. We'll give it a go. And sadly, I don't think it was. Look, we weren't rating too badly. We were about a 10.
Good, yeah.
About a 10 when we got the chop, and I'm pretty sure the breakfast show right now is nowhere near that. So
no, it's decreased. Yeah,
we weren't doing too bad. We're adopting their ideas. We're trying to work with them, but at the end of the day, I think they just want to do something.
And
totally
you did well
different.
as well. Come on, guys, give her a clap. She did well for 5 years. Come on.
Well, 7 years, mate.
7 years. Sorry. Oh my gosh. But now you're at 6PR. Yes. What made you go back into radio, and what was it like to go back to an industry that you just left, kind of thing?
What made me go back? I don't know how to do anything else. There's that. And I truly love radio. I've been in radio about 18 years or more now, actually, about 19. So it's been a long time, and what made me go back? I guess the opportunity. Yeah. So as soon as I finished 96, I started the networking and just getting out there and talking to people about where that next job would be.
Yeah.
I hoped at the time that it would be a radio job, or a television job, or something media related, because I'm probably not done. I've definitely
you still got a while to go.
To offer. And so 6PR was one of the stations that I reached out to, and I hadn't really considered too much whether or not I would fit into talkback, but when I was given that opportunity to do my first talkback shift, after I finished pooing my pants completely, I really enjoyed it. I love talkback, and a lot of the feedback I've had from people since settling into our new breakfast show on the weekends and doing some cover over summer for the weekday breakfast show is that I sound a lot more at home, and that's exactly how I feel.
So was it hard to do, or was it just like an easy transition?
Oh God, it was so hard. Yeah. It was so hard, I think. Yeah. No, it really was. Yeah. It's a totally different format. In a breakfast show format on an FM station, you're talking for about 2 to 3 minutes at the most, and they don't want you to talk anymore. You're in a duo. So suddenly I was filling on in the afternoon shift on 6PR to get started. Yeah. And so I was doing, 13 to 14, even 15-minute talk breaks on my own.
That's long.
Yeah, it is long.
I can't even do free. I'm finding it hard to push for free. But 15, I couldn't do it.
And it was quite daunting, but it actually came together quite well. Once you look at the structure of the hour, there are 4 big breaks, one little sneaky one as you go to the news. Yeah. All those formatics, once it all comes into it, it speaks to radio nerds like me and probably like yourself, Isaac, and it all made sense. And what I love most about it is having the space to do really in-depth interviews like we're doing now, being able to speak a bit longer. If this was an FM breakfast radio show,
we'd be chopped right now.
Yeah, you'd be going, Carmen, that answer was way too long. Can you give it again? About 30 seconds worth.
We're at 6:45 right now. I would have told my guys to chop it at 3, so we've gone double. Yeah. But So you're on TV as well, Channel 9, The Pulse, and
Yep.
Destination WA. Thank you, Connor, for giving me that information there. What draws you to TV, and what do you like about it?
When I was working in radio, TV was just something new and exciting to keep me interested. I've told you already that I tend to get bored quickly and cut and run.
Yeah.
So doing a job for 7 years, I was like, I need to do something else new and exciting to get me excited about work again. So I picked up a bit of casual TV work for that reason.
Yeah.
And I guess what makes me excited about it, it's just a new challenge. I love to learn new things and put myself in situations that make me feel nervous again. You should always feel out of your comfort zone, I think. And as soon as you are sitting in the comfort zone, do something to get yourself out of there. So TV does that for me. I think that TV gives you an opportunity, once you bring in the visual medium, how exciting. You don't have to say as much because the picture tells
the story.
Words for you. But TV takes so much longer than radio.
Yeah,
Radio's
more
immediate.
prep.
There's the prep time. There's also the shoot time. There's the post-production time.
So much to do,
There's so many elements. It's been really cool to learn about, but I think I'm starting to sway back to preferring radio because of its immediacy.
But have you met Michael Thompson?
Yes, Tomo's a legend.
And Tracy Vo?
Tracy Vo, equally a legend. Yes, love the woman.
We got to go meet them, Connor. We got to go meet them. Oh, one day we'll get in there.
I'm sure we can organise a bit of work experience or something.
You should.
One day.
We'll do that.
Yeah?
Me and Connor and I will go in there and do that. Won't we, Connor? Yeah, we will. Now, we're back after the break with Carmen Braidwood and Connor James. We love Connor as well. Thank you, Connor, for staying as well. You're listening to Mornings, brand new show. It's a Monday morning, coming after 11 o'clock, Mental Health Hour. Very exciting.
Isaac Mulcrone for Mornings, playing Perth's newest track and your forever favourites.
Good morning and welcome back to the morning show. It's a brand new show, weekdays 9 to 12. Carmen is still in the studio with me. Good morning again.
Hello again.
Now, we know the media has a strong presence in society. Lots of people know about it. It's very influential, not in good ways all the time. But what do you think we can do better in the industry of media?
Oh, what can we do better? I think we can improve on accuracy and reliability. I think that's something that the mainstream media in particular, I think, should take the opportunity to create a point of difference for itself with that.
Yeah.
On the internet, no offense to your internet radio station, but I'm talking more about internet sources of news.
Yes.
There's a lot of questionable content out there.
Oh, there's
and
tons.
So I think, we need to create a reliable alternative in the traditional media for people who are a bit tired of that touch and go stuff that you might encounter online.
Yeah. So you work with North Metro TAFE and with Connor, who studies... What do you study again, Connor? What do you study? I can't remember.
An advanced diploma of music performance.
And how's that going for you?
We started on Monday, and
Monday.
The first session will be recording with my new band.
First session you record.
Well, yeah, if I find a new band.
That's crazy. So
I've got
first day's Monday.
So far, so I've got to find other members.
Is it Monday fun day for you? Because it's
Monday's fun. It was 10 a.m. to 5. Of course, I'll be tired at the end of the day.
Oh, it's a long day, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the next day I finish at 8:30 at night.
Yeah. So you got a busy day. Yeah. But then so do I. So it's okay. Yeah. We both have busy days. Now, Carmen, you help at the broadcasting course. What do you love about it? What makes you go back and do it again?
Oh, I just love meeting young people who are enthusiastic about my industry. That's really refreshing. It's refreshing meeting you today too. I work with some high school students too, and I live with a high school student, my stepson Joel, who's 16, and their understanding of media these days is much more, and you might reflect on this too, coming through high school yourself, it's much more about video production and all that kind of element of the media. And to me, that's not my traditional understanding of the media. So when you get to TAFE and it's a radio course, these are kids who really dig commercial radio and community radio, and they really want to do something in a broadcasting world. And that, to me, that's what my understanding of media is, and it pumps me up full of enthusiasm and happiness to meet kids like that.
So what would you say to someone who is young and wants to get into the media, but they're not entirely sure? They're nervous about what people might think of them, or about the workload as well. I'm sure it's a big workload. Yeah,
it is. It's the sort of industry where hard workers are respected. You really do need to put a lot in to get a lot back out of our industry, and I haven't seen that change a lot in the last almost 20 years, got to be honest. You don't fool yourself into thinking it's a cruisy job. It ain't.
No, definitely not.
You got to do a lot to stand out. Be prepared for the competitiveness of it.
It is very competitive.
Yeah, but if you're creative and if you want to do something, you can also just go for it these days. That's what I like about what you're doing with your internet radio station. You know, and employers are drawn to that sort of thing. That shows that you've got some nous about you,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, don't let the job side of it hold you back. You can go out there and start broadcasting anytime you like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
and then so my advice, you know, if you wanted to cross over to commercial, it's about getting good at selling yourself and telling the industry about what you're doing.
And one thing I don't like is in the media right now is that people don't see it's okay to start a niche product, something new. People are like, oh no, just do the top 40. I'm like, no, I want to do something different and new.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's the case in media right now? People we're a bit nervous to do something new.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of tried and true techniques that are still being relied upon in radio.
Yeah.
In particular, as I can speak about that industry, knowing what we do, they're gradually becoming open to the new things.
Yeah.
But as a whole, radio stations, you know, your key 5 commercial radio stations, whatever there are in any capital city, they will try and be quite broad as an offering. They're not going to try and narrow down their focus too much because as soon as you narrow down the focus, it's a smaller audience that you're appealing to. But now with digital stations, you've got multiple stations, multiple platforms to work with. You've got online as well. There's an opportunity to go a little more narrow. You know, if you want to do 5 hours of gardening, for instance, on 6PR, you might turn off some of the audience. But you can do that, 5 hours of gardening, in a podcast.
Exactly,
for instance. So there are opportunities, and the radio stations that I work for, at least, are slowly starting to come on board with that.
So now your second cousin, Connor, actually does work at the station as our music director.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for young people like Connor, maybe, that are working in media and want to grow even further?
Oh, what to do? Work hard. I've already kind of hinted at that. Be prepared to work long days, like, 10 till 4 at uni. That must be real hard going for you there, Connor. And I think working hard's important. Know your stuff, and don't be afraid to ask advice of other people in the industry. There's a lot of people out there. It's very easy. It's never been easier to contact people in the industry that you're keen on. So, in Connor's case, look for other great music directors around the country. Check the ACRA Awards
I know
each year
some
and see
people.
who won the award.
Yeah.
Who won the best music director in the country. I mean, Wayne McLean's one of those people at 96 FM. Is still there. He won best music director in the country a few years ago. When
He's doing a good job. We'll give him that.
96 FM to number 1. Music right now sounds amazing on 96. So, I'd be sending Wayne an email one day and just saying, Macca, could you give me a few tips on what I should play?
Do it.
Here's our format. Someone like that. And I can tell because it's happened to me. You get a real kick out of people asking you for a bit of advice, and I can't see why, other than if he was in a grumpy mood, but I can't see why Macca wouldn't welcome that kind of communication.
And Connor, you're doing very well, by the way. Very good job. All the music here is all thanks to Connor. We'll give him the credit because it is his credit.
Thank you.
We'll give him a clap. Carmen, thank you for coming on, having the time to come see us in your very busy schedule. I'm sure it's very busy.
No, well, it can be busy, but Thursdays and Fridays I try to create a weekend for myself because I work weekends on the radio. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on. This has been it still is morning. Sorry, I'm still here till midday. Don't go anywhere. Up next for you, some music on YJR.